So earlier today, Scott Van Villet, who is the Chief Technical Officer of Xbox, made a post regarding the recent outage of Xbox Online services, which was fully restored at 2:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. The outage started, according to some people, at 4 o'clock p.m. GMT on 27 July, that is yesterday for me. The outage affected not only online services like the Xbox Store or the game app, but it also affected the physical games that are owned by people on the disks and their storage devices. Scott responded by explaining the issue that wasn't caused by the failure of an Xbox service, but actually by an outage from a Microsoft service. He specifically mentioned how the entitlement check, telling us straight to our faces that we are entitled to our faces, and how we can't even access our bought and downloaded games without the mercy of the Xbox team. Then he talks about how they identified the issue and started damage control by shifting traffic, which essentially increased the load on the servers. He also mentions that due to this, services came back online in different regions at different times. And in the final point, he mentions that he wants to understand what caused this failure. Not hard to understand though, you make everything require internet, so of course the servers are going to have intense load and cause issues. He mentions that to mitigate this not happening in the future, he wants to harden the dependencies, which by the way just tells you the problem. Why the fuck does everything needs to be connected to the cloud? It makes sense for online games that require you to play with other players, or some games having certain content that require you to sign equals in, but there is no fucking need to design every game or service to require internet when it's not even pulling any assets or data from the cloud. Here are some of the comments under his post, and yes, they are as brain dead as expected. This is an exchange between Scott and another user who talks about how the licensing and entitlement verification is done by Microsoft, and they essentially have no control over it. Another user is just praising being transparent and being consumer-friendly. Yeah, them raising their prices on Game Pass and Xbox consoles was definitely with consumer interest in mind. I can't even fathom how these people are so dumb. This commentor points out that how some Xbox Series S/X aren't able to sign into Xbox Live in certain games, and this issue has persisted for 3 months. He doesn't ask for transparency on how this issue has been going on for 3 months or how they aren't able to fix it. This guy points out how nobody is calling out Xbox for being down for nearly a whole day, and people are propping them up for being transparent. And then this guy points that Sony did nothing like this when their PlayStation Network went down, and the other guy replies that it took less time for Sony, so it's fine. Like, what the fuck is wrong with them? Can't they understand that just because a service is down, that doesn't mean your access to things that you quote-unquote own should be accessible? Imagine this: if you bought a book, but because the bookstore closes today, you can't read it, or you bought a coffee maker, but you can't make your coffee cause today the selling company has a day off. If you find these unacceptable, then please don't accept this either.